So why is choices important? You know, we have 1,300 plus employees, right? And I think each and every one of those employees are different. What's important to them, what they want, what they need, uh, in order to manage their life in the way in which they manage it is different than every other employee that we have. And so Webco's done a pretty good job, I think really a wonderful job of trying to put together a benefits package and that kind of matches what most people would want, right? Now, there's lots of stuff in this that some people may not use, but there's other things that are more important to someone than it would be to someone else. So we talk about choices, and you have to make a decision on where you work and whether or not you're taking advantage of all the things that the company's offered. It gives you a chance to make sure that in your mind you're going through kind of that Rolodex of things that are important. Career development. Is career important to me? I want to make sure, am I on the right path? We're going to be able to accomplish what I want to out of life. I think the H in choices is health and benefits, right? Anyway, depending upon whether you have a family, whether you're single, whether you're old, whether you're young. Anyway, those health and benefits could are at certain times in your life may be more valuable than others. And we want to make sure that people understand what those are and they're taking advantage of those. For instance, zero card. I'm currently under physical therapy for a herniated disc. I haven't had to pay anything, anyway, other than my gas to getting back and forth to my doctor's appointments. So all those opportunities, right? Some people want to go to work and all they want to do is go in, put in their time and go home and be able to do the things they love at home. And that's great. People like that is what make the world go around. Some people want to go to work and have an opportunity to grow, right? Be better than what they are, do things in a bigger way than they've ever done it before, right? They want to move up an organization. They want to learn different skills. They want to manage people. They want to get very technical with regards to certain things and be able to do those type of things. So we like to think at Webco that we provide those people those opportunities. 97% of the folks that work at Webco, they're in management. Anyway, we're promoted from within. So I think that's pretty good. I is income. Money's important, right? Everybody needs to make money to be able to do the things they want to do when they're away from work. There's lots of ways you can make money at Webco. One is your rate, your hourly rate, or whatever your salary is. But there's overtime opportunities. There's a way that you can get money by referring other folks to come to work here. There's bonuses for safety and attendance and all kinds of different things that can help you kind of increase your bottom line when it comes to your income. The second C is culture. Culture is really important. For me, it's important because I actually left Webco, was able to work in places that had really, 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 really difficult cultures, where lots of folks there didn't really have your back. They were really more interested in themselves and trying to figure out how to make you look bad so they looked good. They really didn't take care of their employees. So one of the reasons I came back is because Webco's got a culture that's more like family, right? You really feel like you're with people that really care about you. Lots of reasons that culture is important, but that's the number one for me. Moving from the E is the employee experience. What's it like to work at Webco from every day, every week? I mean, what comes some of the things you should experience at work, right? How do they make you feel? Part of that, we got short shifts. You can work a 4-day schedule, 3-day schedule. Offices are a little bit more limited with the number of hours that you work here, but we try to be flexible when you have life experiences and stuff like that. And finally, the S is stability, right? Some people don't mind going to work and make a little bit of extra money anyway, but you may not have a job next week. They can live with that kind of insecurity, if you will. For me, I want to make sure that if I do a good job and do the things I'm supposed to do, that I can continue to pay my bills and do the things I want to do. So that's choices, right? So we all have choices, and as we're trying to figure out what's the right thing for us to do in our life, let's figure out whether or not we're at the right place and we're taking advantage of the choices that we have.
So Jene and I teach a class called Leading with Influence. One of the proponents in that class is something called Nucor in the Box. And we show companies that try to put you in a box. Nucor is not one of them. They actually try to destroy the boxes. But what Jene and I have thought for a long, long time, it's people that put themselves in the box.
Absolutely.
The company will put you in a box. The world puts us in a box. We can't do anything we want to do just because we want to do it. There's laws and there's guidelines and things. But this choices campaign, what it does is allow people not to put themselves in a box by the choices they make. If they fail to make any choices and don't engage at all, your box gets smaller and smaller, and you're in a little box. But if you get aggressive, learn about the choices you have to make those choices, your box just keeps growing and growing. That's what happened for me at Webco. That's what happened for Jene at Webco and a lot of other folks. We kept making good choices, but to make good choices, you even had to know what's available to choose from. You had to engage. So I would say this is a good way, making choices and good choices is a way not to put yourself in a box.
A thought of choices come from an experience that Tony and I had. We actually went and at some point in time earlier in our careers and went and seen somebody speak about changing jobs, right? And whether or not you should go to, take this job versus that job. And they really had this speech that Tony, if you guys are interested, you can get a hold of Tony and he'll give you the whole story. He does a really nice job at teaching this, but it's about clams, right? And it basically said when you change jobs, it's about challenge, location, your advancement opportunities, money, and security, and that you need to look at all those things when you make a decision on where you want to work, what you want to do. And so that really had a huge impact on me. I think it had a huge impact on Tony. Tony's probably taught that to a couple thousand people in his life.
Seems like it.
Anyway, I've taught it to maybe a couple hundred, and I really have never really taught somebody that if they really sat down and listened to me, anyway, that it didn't really impact them because they didn't really think about all the things they need to think about when they're making a decision. I think choices is the same thing, right? Anyway, there's opportunities in this world. There's opportunities at Webco, there's opportunities at other places. But and really honestly, I can tell you this as a Webco employee, and it's hopefully definitely for somebody that cares, is that this is helping you make the decision that's best for you, right? And we think that Webco for most people is the right and best choice, right? That may not be the case. You want to go be a doctor anyway, maybe you want to own your own landscaping business. Maybe it doesn't work for you as well as it does for others. But for those that aren't in those unique situations, we want to make sure that when you're evaluating your opportunities here, you're taking advantage of all those opportunities and you're going to make the right choice.
One thing, when we teach about the clams, we always make sure we teach they're your clams and they're you and your family's clams. And the worst mistake you can make is comparing your clams to other people's clams. I would say choices are the same way. Don't just make the same choices everybody else is making because that's what they're doing. You need to evaluate what's important to you and why, and then make your choices for you and your family, not just go with the flow for everybody else. And I think that's how you win, is knowing what your needs are. And that's what the clams is all about, is a fundamental teaching tool for learning what your needs are. And if you go through the choices, it's the same way. A single gentleman or gal has different needs than a married person with children. And you need to be smart enough to look at those choices and make them wisely. Just because somebody else does something and they may have kids and you don't, you might be making a bad choice just going the way that they went, or vice versa.
In front of Southwest Tube, there's a sign, and that sign, I remember when I drove into work for the first time in 1985, I remember reading that sign, and it said, "Where people make the difference." And that gets still there today. It's a different sign anyway, but it's the same notion. And that was a quote that's been attributed to Mr. Weber. It's a little bit longer quote, but that really kind of resonated with me. And I plan on working at Webco for the rest of my life, right? And what I have realized is it is people that make the difference, right? And so people are important.
All right.
Choose Webco.
That's what I was